What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. MMA community goes off on judges. The MMA community has continued to unload on Judge Mike Bell after his controversial scorecard was made public for the Noche UFC main event. The bout, which was scored a draw, saw Bell award Grasso a 10-8 scorecard in the 5th round, which many thought was unwarranted. MMA community members like Ben the Bane Davis were quick to take to social media with memes ripping the judge for the questionable scorecard. As others, like MMA Hour's Connor Burks, pointed out, had Bell scored the 5th round 10-9 for Grasso, like the other two judges, Shevchenko would have gone home as the champion. His tweet included a humorous reference to a fact that many have picked up on over the years, that the UFC has seemingly used Kamaru Usman's arm in many of its title pictures for champions. Another MMA community member, O2, posted a meme of a blindfolded judge, writing, "Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Bell." After the fight, Shevchenko herself blasted the judging while speaking with media members at the post-fight press conference, alleging that the fight was scored a draw rather than in her favor because of the Noche UFC event.
And unfortunately, I think because this event, it's like Mexican Independence Day, that's why it's affected the decision of the judge to give 10-8 in the 5th round. And for my experience, 10-8, it's when one fighter completely cannot do nothing. It's like running around, waiting there, looking for escape from the octagon. It's like miserable.
Commentators Daniel Cormier and Dominic Cruz both ripped the decision as well, with both unsure of how the 5th round was scored as a 10-8 for Grasso rather than as a 10-9. While cage side, Cormier reflected on the fight, saying, "That wasn't a 10-8, with Cruz agreeing, adding, "It's unfortunate because this fight deserved a winner. These two women laid it all out on the line, and they both fought beautifully. A draw, I guess. I don't understand where he gets 10-8. I'm trying not to be too hard on the guy." According to Alexa Grasso, despite the fact that she retained the title as the result of a draw, she's happy with her performance and confident that she won the fight 3 rounds to 2. She gave her thoughts on the bout while speaking to media members at the post-fight press conference.
I'm happy with my performance. I think I did, for me, it was 3-2. The 2nd, 4th, and 5th were for me, but I'm not the judge, so...
After such a close fight, it'll be interesting to see whether the UFC has the pair run things back one more time. Shout out to our first comments on yesterday's video. Thanks for the support. Chris Curtis' situation just got worse. A recent card on the UFC Fight Pass card saw UFC veteran Chris Curtis get called out. In a shocking turn of events, Curtis, who was in attendance, then grabbed the mic to issue a stark warning to the fighter.
I want to say something. If I'm in UFC, I want to fight this guy, Chris Curtis. Like 170, I fight him. Let's go. 170, I fight him, If I'm in UFC, I fight him 170.
Look at here, you f***ing muppet. I was messy today, and I didn't drag your head off concrete that I should have. Watch your f***ing mouth. I'm not the one you want. I will bury you, angry little dog boy.
While fans pieced the situation together online, the Action Man himself broke things down on Twitter, writing, "You don't threaten me and my family and then apologize behind closed doors before pulling this. Nah, my guy, you beat a cab driver, not impressed. All that talking's gonna get you hurt." UFC vet Cameron Elsey responded to Curtis, alleging that the fighter calling him out made horrendous threats that led to him getting kicked out of Jackson Winklejohn MMA gym in the past. "Chris, this guy's a f***ing snake dog. He got kicked out of Jackson Wink, then started messaging people, including me, saying he gonna my sisters. Little weasel." Curtis then responded, revealing his own interactions with the fighter in question, with Extreme Couture's Eric Nixick joining in to reveal the fighter was kicked out of several other high-profile MMA gyms as well. "Oh, we know. He threatened me, my family, my coach's wife. We had at least 5 women message us with information about him beating them up and harassing them. We know he's a cowardly little." With the beef alive and well, a fan questioned just how serious Curtis was about the term on site. Quickly, the Action Man fired back, "I'm being paid to do a job. He is aware what it is, which is why he has refused to see me anywhere, which is why he got run out of the gym. Off." If the two wind up settling things in the gym, it's safe to say there'll probably be plenty of video footage. UFC fighter plans to appeal fight. After a controversial finish to his fight with Daniel Lacerda at Noche UFC, Edgar Chairez and his team are planning to appeal the no contest. While Chairez had a submission against the fence, Lacerda's hand briefly appeared to go limp, resulting in referee Chris Tognoni stopping the fight before checking to see whether he was in fact unconscious. After Lacerda protested the stoppage, video replay was used to rule the fight a no contest, earning Tognoni plenty of criticism online from fans as well as other fighters. According to Chairez's manager, Jason House, who spoke with MMA Fighting, the team will appeal the decision. Of course, as we've seen in the past when fighters attempt to appeal decisions, the success rate is very low. Whether or not Chaidez's appeal winds up being successful, only time will tell. UFC gets warned for Sean Strickland's antics. MMA legend Ken Shamrock thinks that the controversial nature of fighters like Sean Strickland and Conor McGregor is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, Shamrock understands that there's a marketing aspect to hot takes and trash talk. However, on the other, he thinks that the UFC needs to make sure they keep a tight hold on things in order to prevent them from getting out of control. He spoke about the line between marketing and taking things too far while speaking in an interview with Inside Fighting.
I think McGregor was a perfect example. I mean, he crossed the line a few times on things that were a little bit questionable, but it still raises the viewerships. And I think as an owner or as a person that is promoting fights, you want that, but you've got to be able to keep it somewhat under wraps where it's not going too far, where you're hurting people in the process. So I think I don't mind it. I think everybody has a character. Everybody is going to be who they are going to be. And you got to allow that to a certain point.
In the wake of Strickland's win, many question how the UFC would handle marketing a fighter so controversial. As UFC President Dana White explained to media members after UFC 293, however, fighters saying outlandish things is simply part of the fight game. While many years ago, the promotion enforced a code of conduct that resulted in fines and suspensions for controversial comments, in recent years, that is no longer the case. Kevin Holland wants unique UFC fight. Following his Noche UFC loss to Jack Della Maddalena, Kevin Holland threw a curveball at fans, and Neil Magny as well, when he proposed that the two should fight in a high-stakes affair that would see the loser forced to shave their head. While reflecting on his loss to JDM on Instagram, Holland wrote, "Props to Jack, good guard. I'd like to go watch it back. I see y'all talking about poor performance. I really honestly thought I outworked dude, but what the hell do I know? For those that ride with me, how about Neil Magny, loser cuts their hair?" Magny, of course, is fresh off a lopsided loss to Ian Gary that saw him on the wrong end of an ultra-rate 30-24 scorecard. With Holland keeping a busy schedule, it's unclear whether or not Magny will be ready to compete on Trailblazers' timeline after absorbing so much damage. While fans have seen fighters make agreements with one another in the past, the latest call out from Holland is sure to raise some eyebrows. Leon Edwards' brother came out in a recent interview explaining why Leon hasn't fought in over 6 months. According to Fabian Edwards, his brother is still training and ready to go. The delay is only because of negotiations. Here's what he had to say. "Fans keep asking me, but he's ready to go. He's ready to get in there. It's just about negotiations. It's about location and so many things. At the moment, the focus is on me, and I'm in the cage, but he's training and ready. It's great having him there if we need to lean on each other, having a champion that's been there and done it." With Dana saying that Colby Covington is next in line for a title shot,
you did make Colby Covington versus Leon.
I did.
That night.
Yes, I did. That is true. But that was a no-brainer. If Usman doesn't exist, Colby's been the champ now for a while, and he's been there forever. He cut the weight. He showed up to fill in for that fight, and a million other reasons why he deserves that fight.
It's possible that we see that matchup happen early next year. Alex Pereira was pranked at his house, which almost led to him throwing a devastating right hand to his own son.
Caramba, velho, moleque, velho. Pô, não é brincadeira não, velho. Fazer, meu. Caramba, velho, que bosta, velho. Vocês só faz merda, velho. Caramba.
Joe Rogan sends warning to Israel Adesanya. Before the UFC matched up Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya for UFC 293, the promotion's original plan was for the last stylebender to fight Dricus du Plessis in a highly anticipated grudge match. Now, with Sean Strickland sitting atop the division, many are wondering whether or not the UFC should make Adesanya compete against du Plessis for the #1 contender spot. While speaking on his Joe Rogan Experience podcast, the longtime commentator issued a stark warning to Adesanya regarding a potential #1 contender bout with du Plessis.
Dricus du Plessis versus Izzy for the #1 contender spot.
Oh, that is interesting.
Take my money. Oh my god.
Yeah, bro. Why, you got, who do you have on that?
I don't know. Dricus is a scary guy, man.
Dude, he just
what he did to
style,
Robert Whitaker,
insane.
And he's super big. He's so
massive.
big.
He hits like
a really?
It's like
massive.
a truck. He's a very good kickboxer.
And he's
even though he's awkward
awkward
looking, he's effective.
You're talking about du Plessis?
Yes. Du Plessis. He moves odd, which is hard to get a rhythm on because he doesn't move like regular guys do, and he throws weird stuff. Like Dricus is fucking scary. The way he beat the out of Robert Whittaker. Who saw that coming? Especially after Whittaker and Adesanya had a very close second match. And then he's so big, dude.
He hits so hard.
Every time I shake his hand, I'm like, how the f are you 185 pounds?
Yeah.
He looks like a heavyweight.
Yeah. And now you give that guy confidence after you beat a guy like Robert Whittaker, who was always the guy with Izzy's not champ, Whittaker's the guy, and he starched him. And he's a knockout artist. Like, he punches fucking hard.
Yeah, I mean, he f***ed up Robert Whittaker with grappling, too. Remember? Got him in a headlock and took him down?
Yeah.
Look, he's big and awkward.
Between Israel Adesanya, Dricus du Plessis, Jared Cannonier, and the winner of the upcoming Khamzat Chimaev versus Paulo Costa fight, all vying for a title shot, it's safe to say that whatever route the UFC goes, fans can expect fireworks. Top comments: Mike Bell doesn't need to judge another fight ever again. Put Izzy as backup for Khamzat versus Costa, that way he'll get a serious whooping and will probably retire. Aljo is probably the only champion right now other than Volk that would deserve an immediate rematch. This man has defended his belt multiple times. And honestly, it was less than 2 rounds, so any MMA fan who is saying that performance doesn't deserve a rematch is definitely a casual. You guys are acting like clowns. This is not a circus. Stop feeding into the entertainment side of things, and let's get back to the way UFC should be, the best fighting the best. What made me fall in love with the UFC was its honesty, its honor between fighters. Now the UFC has turned into a set-up wrestling event. That's all about the drama and the money. I believe UFC fighters should be paid more. Dana's got enough money, the UFC's got enough clout, but they're going to ruin themselves just like NASCAR did if they keep up the fake show. Keep it honest, keep it real, and it will continue to grow. This is why Sean Strickland is so popular. He's a real person doing real things, not faking or performing to get sales on pay-per-view. If you want to be featured in our next video, make sure to leave a comment and subscribe to the channel. We'll see you tomorrow.